It's really hot, so I'm not putting any makeup on, so if I look like crap, I'm sorry, but there's no point putting makeup on just to sweat it off. I'll just do this, and then you guys won't even notice. So I'm really sorry for the very uncreative background. I was in the middle of a painting session and I took an unscheduled break to do this idea because I really wanted to just try it out. That's why we don't have a cool background at the minute. It's because this is the wall that I lean my paintings against when I'm painting. So in this video I'm going to be trying out a technique that I saw another artist do. So I'm kind of stealing the idea, but obviously I'm not going to copy them completely because it's going to be my own work. I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to steal it. I'm going to be attaching some pieces of paper together to make a really big piece of paper, which sounds really redundant. Like, why don't I just get a really big piece of paper? But basically the idea is that you tape all of them together to make a really big piece of paper, you do your painting on it, and then you take them apart again and you have many smaller bits of artwork. So in this case I'm attaching 6 pieces of paper together, so when I when I detach them later on, I will have 6 different pieces of artwork, essentially. Hopefully. But recently all I kind of do is paint on canvas, so this is going to be a little bit weird for me. But hopefully at the end of this I should have 6 different artworks instead of 1. So I'm gonna get on with it. I am gonna pass you guys over to VoiceOver Bethy to fully explain the process and to show you some of the ins and outs of my work. So good luck! Hello everybody, I am VoiceOver Bethy and I am here to talk you through the process of this acrylic painting. Nope, that's wrong. It's not acrylic. It is acrylic, but it's not acrylic. I meant abstract. It's an abstract painting. Sorry, let me try that again. Hello everybody, I am VoiceOver Bethy and I'm here to talk to you about the process of this abstract painting. There we go, that's better. Second time's the charm. Anyone that's seen any of my videos before will notice that I like to mask off my paintings. My favourite part of doing a painting is taking the masking tape off at the end because you get a nice crisp line and it just looks so much more professional than if you didn't. The artist that inspired this technique did not do this, so when she peeled the tape off it was kind of had wobbly edges which kind of put me off, so I made sure to tape off the edges first. I decided to use watercolour paper for this project because I thought that maybe it would hold up just a little bit better under the onslaught of different paints that I was going to use, because I am a professional and also because it was the only paper I had laying around. So it's basically essentially just a cheap watercolour pad that I have. So believe me, if you are new to painting or if you just want to have a go of this for fun, or even if you're a professional painter and you just want to have a go at it, you can pretty much do it with any kind of cheap paper, as long as it won't rip easily under your paint, of course. So this also makes this a really good project for if you're an artist on a budget, like which I am. I don't really like to buy expensive things to make art. All of my paints are like maybe £3 at most, and my paper pad that I'm currently using I think was like also like £2.98. I think this project actually kind of went quite well. There was relatively little mistakes and it wasn't a struggle to get things done. The only problem that I had was that I didn't put the paper close enough to each other. So when I taped it off, I had this visible kind of gap between the paper. And it really kind of threw me off because I couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that it was all connected and supposed to be one giant piece of work. Which is the point, it's supposed to be a giant piece of work and then you separate it into smaller pieces, but I just couldn't get my mind to figure out that that middle bit was supposed to be connected to all of it. So I just kept using each individual sheet as a tiny mini painting, when I should have actually just been viewing it as one big painting. So I think if I ever try this again, I'm gonna have to attach all of the paper closer to each other so all of the paper is touching and there's no weird gaps in the middle. Oh, I should probably talk a little bit about the paint. So I'm starting by literally just blobbing on lots of little bits of colour and I'm just blending them all together. I'm trying really hard not to overblend because otherwise all of the colours will just go muddy. And I used quite a lot of white on there as well because I kind of like a lot of the colours to blend out to white just so that it's a little bit more subtle. It's not as bright. And now I'm just going in with a spatula and I'm just smearing on some, ew, what a gross word. I'm just smearing on some kind of pink colour. The best part about doing this is that this is all about experimentation. So there's no wrong way of doing it, there's no right way of doing it, you just do it and you see what you like and then you can use that in your next painting. So I kind of really like the way that when you put the paint on with a spatula it comes out kind of scratchy and patchy and not at all blended in with the rest of the background. It's kind of nice just to see that, just see a little bit of a difference. So I did not realize just how badly the sun kind of ruined this whole shot while I was filming it. The contrast on this is disgusting, but it's the only footage that I've got of this stage, so I'm going to use it, unfortunately. I'm very sorry, guys. So this is just me doing a little bit of gesture drawing, what is it, a clown? Gesture drawing. Goddamn stupid Yorkshire accent. This is me doing a little bit of gesture drawing with some pastels just over the top of the acrylic paint. When people think of gesture drawing, they think of really fast movements, really kind of not thinking about it, just kind of going for it, making lines kind of thing. But obviously I'm an overthinker, so I'm gonna think about it. So I thought I would show you guys the actual speed that I was doing this, so this isn't sped up or slowed down. This is just me trying to switch my brain off and not think about it as much as I normally would. And then I can use this to kind of give myself a starting point for the next step in the painting. So I wanted to have like some nice soothing, just kind of ASMR background noise just going on in this video, but I didn't think of that when I was actually painting this, and I'm currently watching Fruits Basket on my iPad in the background, so I've had to mute it because I don't want to get got by YouTube. This is me starting the next step, and now the next step for me is to go in and to just do some mark making. I've picked a colour that I like to use that hasn't been used in the painting yet, and I essentially just go in and I just do some blobs and I kind of just paint some patterns and some marks, and I kind of just go with what I'm feeling at the time. I think there's something very, very satisfying about using this brush because it's a square brush, which means that I can do really, really quick kind of squarish rectangle looking blobs, and I just really like seeing them all clustered together like that. You guys will just have to bear with me because I don't tend to explain my work to people. Obviously, if it's an abstract, there's elements that mean things, or they mean certain things, or kind of motifs. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. There's an F in it, I know that. I find that there's some patterns that I use more often than others. I really like leaves and botanicals, so I often have those in my paintings. I really like the rectangle cluster blobs. I kind of like scribbles. You'll see it later because I use it later. I kind of like the archway looking kind of rainbow shapes because they feel very stable to me, stable and fun. It kind of depends on what I'm feeling at the time. I'm actually not sure if you guys like hearing me talk about what I'm doing and why I do it, but I'll keep going if you want me to. It's kind of difficult to articulate and put into words why I like certain things. So I like nature, and I like being outside in nature, but I actually am not outside in nature very often, and it should be a goal for me to go outside more often. But I definitely feel more comfortable and happier in nature than I do, say, in a city or in my house. I'm actually trying not to be too precious about painting, trying to be a little bit more natural at that too, so maybe that's why the nature ties in. I'm a very odd person. I'm a perfectionist, but at the same time I kind of fear perfection. Something is perfect, it just kind of gives me a little bit of an anxiety kind of feeling in my tummy. I think it's mostly because a lot of people strive for perfection, but I never seem to be able to achieve it, so I kind of gave up. So I'm trying to be a little more loose in my artwork and a little less caring as well. Because I feel like I would be a lot happier if I wasn't trying to make every line perfect. That's what I like about abstract, is that you can take any symbol or any element that you like and you can assign it a meaning. You can assign it a meaning that is specific to you, and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It can mean that someone's looking at your painting and they're seeing symbols and they're giving them a different meaning to you. Art means something different to everyone else, and everyone views art differently. So a painting can be saying one thing to you, and then someone else can look at it and they can be thinking totally different things. And I think that that's amazing, and I love that. So I guess that botanicals and nature in my paintings mean comfort, but it also means learning to be natural and to be unafraid, to be imperfect. Botanicals and leaves and plants and things are actually in a lot of my abstract paintings. I don't know what this spiky boy is. He's just a spiky boy. I think it's more like, it kind of looks like a firework or like a really spiky plant, or it's kind of like a burst, so maybe it's like just like a burst of like feeling or inspiration. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much into this. I decided that it was getting a little bit too colourful, so I added some more white elements to it, just try and tone it down a little before I start doing the next layer. Oh, that dramatic zoom in though, did you see that? So I like to do a step occasionally where I just pick a colour and I put paint on my brush and I close my eyes and I just kind of plop the paintbrush down and then I paint with my eyes closed, just to try and it kind of makes like some more kind of like patchy bits, but it's more like I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like color blocking. Like if there's too much detail going on, my brain will be like, right, so I need something to break this up. So I'm just gonna add some color and paint over some bits and just kind of color block in, and I find the best way to do that without overthinking it is to just close my eyes and just slap some color on there. I picked this green color because I really, really like it, and sometimes that's just the best reason to do something. Look at how artsy and cool this shot is, It's like I managed to line up some of the sunlight from the window in this shot, and it looks pretty cool, but then it kind of gets problematic because it keeps getting lighter and darker with the light outside, so I'm really sorry for that. But the shot is just too cool to not keep it in, so. I cannot explain to you why purple flowers. I just thought, purple flowers. So often I will use the same colour but then make it a shade or two darker and use that to put my marks in with. They fade into the background. It's kind of a subtle way of putting in different marks and different patterns. Oh, it kind of connects differently. It's almost softer. Now is about the time when I do something a little dramatic. I tend to pick a bright colour that I haven't used yet, and then I try to do something different that's big or is just different to the rest of the piece. A lot of the time it's a big scribble, but today it's a wobbly line and a loop-de-loop. At this point I still felt like it was 6 separate pieces of paper, so I made sure to continue the line across more of the pages in hopes of connecting them together. I wanted to paint these little leaves in white, but I didn't want to contrast too much or make them too bright and standouty, so I decided to just mix a lighter green up to make it a little bit subtler, but you can still see the leaves. I really love the randomness of the leaves themselves, like where they're placed is totally random, and I just love how that looks. And I think this is my favourite part so far. At this point I have a lot of the lighter green left, so I decided to just go in and just fill in some patterns in just some random places, mostly just to use up the green. It's a lovely day outside, so I decided to do a little bit more painting and then go outside and take a bit of a break. I did some crochet in the garden and it was really peaceful and relaxing, and I think I really needed that. I did not realise how exhausted I had been. And now it's time to take the tape off, which is always my favourite part of the process because it reveals some nice crisp edges underneath, which frames the paintings nicely without actually having to put them in a frame. Just kind of makes them look more neat and professional. Something that I really noticed as I was revealing these is that I'm really liking them. I adore them. I can't believe how beautiful and bright that they've turned out, especially because the big painting looked like it was such a mess, with everything combined on top of it. I think next time I try this, I'm gonna add more layers and also more media, such as I want to try some ink and watercolour to get some of that looseness in there, and then also some oil pastels to maybe add a little bit more texture. I think that would be quite good.
Hi guys, welcome back. So this is what I made. I don't really know what to say about them. I really love them. Quite impressed with how they turned out. I love the way that you could kind of piece them together if you wanted, but they wouldn't quite fit now because of where the tape was. I just really like that it was one big piece and now it's just 6 little pieces. And I really like the colour palette as well. I'm not so sure about this orange thing here. I really love the rest of the colour palette. It's a colour palette that I've been using for a couple of weeks now. And I just think it's so cool to look at. Let me know below in the comments what you like about these pieces. If you like them, if you don't like them, you can tell me that too. I take all criticism. If you really like them, then get in touch, let me know, send me a message. I can always pop them on my website for you if you would like to purchase them. I might even scan them and put them on a new Redbubble website so people can buy prints of them. That would be quite cool. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked this video, and I will see you guys next time. I'm off to put my studio back the way that it was. See ya!